Welcome to Can Be Crafty Shop. I'm Carrie Causey, and today I'm coming to you live from my living room because the light is better in here. Even though it's very sunny, it's extremely not sunny in my workshop. And so here we are in my living room. I am thrilled to introduce to you the Pirouette Quartet with room to manage 4 balls of yarn at the same time. Extremely helpful for all kinds of color work or for sleeves if you're doing 2 at a time, but each sleeve is held double, like a worsted and a mohair that's also so popular right now. And today for this demo, I'm gonna teach you how to make those very fabulous little granny squares where each triangular quarter is its own color, and you don't have to cut the strands and you don't have to have 1,000 ends to weave in. You just can keep going, and the Pirouette Quartet can help you do that. So here we go. If you have made any other granny squares before, the instructions are basically the same. There's no real difference in the square itself. It's just where and how you change colors. So we're gonna start out with a chain 4 to make the little ring in the center. I don't like doing this one with a magic ring because with all the new colors coming in on the ring at the same time, things tend to unwind a little bit. So I like there to be a nice solid center. So here's our little ring. We're going to chain 3 and then work 2 double crochets to make our first cluster all in red. There it is, first cluster in red. And then we're gonna chain 3 to turn the corner, but this is also where we do our color change. So we'll chain 2, drop red, and pick up white, color number 2, whatever that is. And just hang it on your hook and pull it through just like the 3rd chain. So now we have 3 chains. Here it comes. And then you just carry on with your next cluster as if you hadn't done anything. The tails and the old working yarn are just gonna hang off to the back, and we'll make our next cluster of 3 double crochets. If you have done color work before, you know that the first round, usually the first 2 rounds, will be a little bit squirrely with all the tails because each new color isn't really fastened down yet and the stitches tend to stretch out. All of that will be fixed on the 2nd round and really squared up by the 3rd round. There's our 2nd cluster. Chain 2, and then our 3rd chain will be done with the new color. So you'll have to be a little bit careful and a little bit particular on this first round, and then a little bit on the 2nd round, and then after that, you won't have to worry about any of these loose new color ends. All right, here comes our 3rd cluster in our 3rd color. Can you tell I've got a Christmas palette going on here? Oops. There we go. 3rd cluster, chain 2 and drop. Pick up our 4th color and pull it through for our last chain. Keeping all the everything back out of the way. And working our last cluster of 3 double crochets into the center ring. All right. Now this corner we will chain 3 because there's no color change to take up that last chain for us. So we'll chain 3 and join to the top of the chain over here in the red cluster. All right, so here's our center with all of our colors. Now to keep from having to cut and redo all the time, we're just gonna turn over, and so the black that we have on will work back over the black that we just completed. But you can see that we're attached at the wrong side of the quarter. We want our black to be over here by the black we've already got and not by the red. So to do that, we're just going to take 2 slip stitches right in that corner turning chain, and that will move our working yarn over by black where we want it. You only have to do this when you finish a round and flip over to start the next round. You won't have to do it for each corner. All right, so here we are. And we'll do a chain 3 as usual, and then we'll work 2 double crochets so that we have a cluster of 3 in this black corner. And then we'll move right over and make our next cluster between black and green. It can be helpful to pull green and tighten it up a little bit before you start working into this corner. But the cluster is the same. You can chain one in the middle if you like chaining one in the middle for your granny squares. Basically, you're making whatever kind of granny square you like and just changing colors in the corners. So I'm making this kind. All right, so here we have our 2 new clusters above our old one, and we're gonna chain 3 to turn the corner. The first 2 are with black, the last one is with green, but it's down here at the bottom. So I wanna show you the magic trick for getting this up without leaving a long float. So go ahead and take the green and pull it through. Tighten that black up so we can see better, and you do have a float there. There you can see it. And then you're gonna make a cheater double crochet. Instead of yarning over up here, you're gonna go under the float, yarn over and bring it up as a stitch. Then you'll insert into the corner where you belong and bring up a stitch. You've got your 3. You'll go ahead and finish the entire double crochet. And because we yarned over under the float, it got wrapped in and there is absolutely no yarn hanging out there. So that is a fantastic, tricky way to change colors and bring it up to the next round all at the same time. So here's our 3. We'll cross to this corner. I'm going to tighten my white, which is the next one coming. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit so that it is not saggy. Come on, green. Sometimes you need to give it a little spin, especially when the balls get smaller. All right. We're working into this corner with 3 double crochets. And then we'll turn the corner with chain 2, drop the green and pick up white. And white will be our 3rd chain. Again, we will let there be a float and bring it up. Cheat my double crochet by going under the float to bring up 1, and then going into the corner like you're supposed to bring up the 2nd. Finish the double crochet as usual. No float. Finish your cluster. So that color change, floaty, fake double crochet you'll do in each corner all the way around. All right, we've finished our first cluster. We'll skip over to our shared corner with red. Give red a little tightening up there before we get in. One, two, three, whoops. Any broken yarns here. And sometimes you have to still tighten up your corner anyway. I tightened up red and it loosened again. So we'll just give him a little pull. There we go. All right, we'll chain 2, drop white, pick up red. This will be our last corner. Let him have his float. We'll cheat double crochet with the float. And finish our cluster. There's 3. Skipping over to our shared corner with brown, black. Looks kind of brown in this light, actually. The chain on this corner is a slight bit thicker because we slip stitched across, but it gets covered up when you join here. And so you don't notice it in the finished product. All right, again, there's no color change in this corner, so we're gonna go ahead and chain all 3 and then attach to the top of brown. So here is our beginning center, first 2 rounds of our four corners. I don't know what they call this one. Anyway, where you don't cut the yarns and you can just keep going, and all your 4 colors, they're not rolling around on the ground. You didn't have to put them in separate ziplocks. You didn't have to put 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. And because everything is attached and they're not trading places, it's very easy to prevent tangles. I don't know if we can get it in here. You'll just rotate it left or rotate it right, and they will all untwist for you. You don't have to swap balls around all the time. Let's see if I push it way back here. Yep, so I can just rotate this around until my red is back on its side. Just like that. So they're all crossed on each other because I've pulled up so much slack, but they're not tangled. They're all still nice and neat and even. So I hope that this has helped you to see the sorts of things that you can do. Come here, camera. There you are. The sorts of things that you can do with the Pirouette Quartet. And I hope this helps you in all of your color work for both knitting and crochet.